Is this true? If this is true, this is massive. Generic control in the deck goes. We're back with another Game Theory FNAF video. Today we're doing FNAF, Your Pain Fuels Us, where it says pain is power, and I have no idea what this is going to be about. I think it's going to be talking about STITCHWRAITH, who is absolutely sick. The name is sick. The character is sick. We're going to learn more about STITCHWRAITH today, and I'm so excited for that. You're checking my reaction to last week's video, which was Golden Freddy, Not What We Thought. I'll leave my reaction out right up there. Also, going to link down below in the description. Also, going to be a place on my channel with all my other Game Theory FNAF videos going in chronological order if you want to check those out. I learned a lot about the games, a lot about the lore, and it is a very deep wormhole. And I read every single comment, so leave some down below. Also, we live stream today at 5 p.m. playing some Pokemon White 2. I'm also uploading the VODs on the gaming channel on Saturday. Also, yesterday should have been my VOD of me finishing Half-Life 2 for the very first time. So I think we're going to jump into the episodes this coming up Saturday, and then I'm going to jump into Portal 1 and then Portal 2. It's going to be a fun time nonetheless, but today we're doing some FNAF stuff, and I really enjoyed the FNAF Game Theory videos so far, even though they like to show the puppet a lot. I'm not a big fan of showing seeing the puppet. Not a fan at all. But I hope you're subscribed to some of these future videos. We're approaching 70,000 subscribers. I'll be checking my phone periodically because I'm about to hit 69,420 subscribers. I'm currently 4 subscribers away from hitting that milestone, and it's all downhill from there. My channel was elite 3 years ago. My goal for this year is to hit 100,000 subscribers, which would just be a momentous achievement that I never thought was even possible. But thank you so much for watching these videos. I'm completely against paywall, so shout out to the patrons because they get the videos there early. A lot of time a paywall, like a lot of other channels have that paywalls or take on, you know, brand deals from companies they don't actually believe in and stuff like that. I'm fortunate enough that I have enough patrons and wonderful viewers like you to not be forced to take bad brand deals or, you know, fill the video with tons of mid-roll ads and stuff like that. But let's go ahead and jump into Your Pain Fuels Us. Alright. Let's see. I don't know how pain can be turned into power, but we're gonna find out today. I'm gonna be checking my phone periodically because I'm about to hit 69,420 subscribers. You only hit that once. That's an arm. Okay. Is this supposed to be STITCHWRAITH? What is that? What in the Attack on Titan? Season 4 is crazy. I'm reacting to it on the Duck Goes anime.
It's alive. It's alive.
It's what? What did it just do to him? Did it kill him? Did it steal his soul?
Hello, Internet.
That is sick.
Welcome to
that
Theory.
intro right there,
Today
where
we're
it just
covering
the
scariest
black.
topic in
Oh,
all
dude.
of FNAF lore,
What?
the timeline. But not for the games.
The whack.
Oh, jeez,
The
no, I
books.
hate myself, but not that much. Whew, I'll probably have to do that at some point down the line, but not today.
Yeah,
Now,
no.
what we're
I think he's doing that like
covering
right now or
today
something.
Is a
Or
different
does a couple
timeline.
times.
You see, there's a new monster from the FNAF
STITCHWRAITH.
universe. A killer that has horrifically taken the lives of nearly a dozen people. A killer as yet unseen in the games, but one who will, after today's theory, provide us with key
STITCHWRAITH.
insights into how this whole FNAF universe works, the true nature of Remnant, and how ghosts can possess endoskeletons. As I said, he hasn't been in a game yet, but I have a feeling he'll be showing up soon.
In
maybe as soon
Security
as the
Breach?
new game Security Breach. But in order to know for sure, it's our job
I don't know,
to
does
track
he?
his movements, to understand what his goals are and where he's headed to next. You see, last FNAF theory we did
Which
a
was last
surface
week's
level
video.
analysis
Link down below in the
of
description.
1:35 a.m., the latest installment of the Fazbear Fright series. And boy, was that one a biggie, with huge revelations about sister location,
Yeah.
Ultimate Custom Knight's vengeful spirit, and the real identity, or should I say identities,
Of
of
the two
Golden
people
Freddy. And
possessing
looking back,
Golden
since
Freddy
the
or something like
Fazbear
that.
Frights books became a thing, I've done 5 theories on them, covering the
Really?
many connections that they have to the
I've
various
reacted to all of
facets of FNAF lore. From new strings of murders happening in 1985 to the true identity of Psychic Fred
That was
Fred
so
Bear.
long
But
ago.
despite all of this new FNAF talk,
hate
there's been
that.
one element I've largely been glossing over: the STITCHWRAITH.
The
In
STITCHWRAITH.
event that you haven't
Dude,
picked
it's
up any
such
of the
a cool
installments of the book
name.
series yet, let me catch you up. Each new book contains 3 short stories, right? That's the selling feature. It's what's advertised on the back of the box, so to speak.
Oh.
Each one also comes with a bit of a bonus. In reality, each book is more like 3 1/5 stories. You see, each one
What?
ends with an
And the-
epilogue, or little
okay, so the
MCU
fifth ties them all
post-credits
together.
teaser,
Yeah,
giving
okay.
us a piece of yet another story.
It's very
The
freaky,
tale
but I
of
like
the
it.
STITCHWRAITH, a story that appears to be spanning out across the ending of each and every book in this new series.
Is
And
STITCHWRAITH the
that
puppet master?
alone would be pretty darn cool, right? Also, it's a brilliant marketing tactic to keep us buying more just to see the end of this thing. Slow clap, Scott Cawthon. Slow clap.
They know how to make money, that's for sure.
It's becoming clear that the tale of the STITCHWRAITH isn't just another horror tale. It's instead a running thread throughout nearly every other shorter story that we've been reading through, which in turn seems to connect it both to the original trilogy of books as well as even the games. So in order to understand what this thing is and where the lore is headed, it's time to go Easter egg hunting for a monster. Now, admittedly, my first theory on the Fazbear Frights books briefly covered the STITCHWRAITH, and back then I assumed he was Ennard. The Wraith was described in that book as a mysterious figure wearing a black cloak and wearing a white mask with features drawn in thick black marker. The description specifically calls out his two eyes, one of which appears to be blacked out, a big toothy grin with blood around the mouth, and a limping or shambling walk. White mask, blacked out eye, missing one, Ennard. It seems like a slam dunk for Ennard. However, the epilogue for 1:35 a.m. threw that hypothesis out the window, as it revealed just exactly how the STITCHWRAITH was brought to life. A process that actually reveals a lot about how this series' mythos works. In this epilogue, we're introduced to Dr. Phineas Taggart, not to be confused with his friend Dr. Ferb Fletcher. Phineas is never seen Phineas and Ferb scientist type,
ever. I've never watched anything on Disney Channel. Okay.
Human emotion.
Never.
As he says himself, quote, "Human emotion is slower to impact, more insidious. It emanates from us, or is excreted from us like sweat or tears, and it wafts outward like a noxious cloud soaking into the surroundings."
That's
creepy. In particular, his research is centered around the intense emotion of agony. In order to study it, we see that Phineas collects hundreds of haunted objects to search for this emotion trapped inside. Again, from the book,
pain, agony
could mean showing signs of torment or some kind of mental anguish. These items on Phineas's shelves weren't possessed by ghosts. The ones that were truly haunted were energized by agony. Agony, I'm convinced, radiates farther from people than any other emotion, Phineas said.
It's like if you hit a Rubik's Cube or something.
My hypothesis that you can take a saturation of agony, add any sort of intelligence, even an artificial one, and they'll combine together to transmute the energy of emotion into the energy of physical action. This, I believe, is what explains what people call haunted objects. And already you might be starting to see how this all ties into what we already know about this franchise. In FNAF 6's Insanity ending, we were introduced to the blueprints outlining how the sister location Scooper worked. And it was, well, it was not what we expected, to say the least. Through those blueprints, we learned about the mystery metal called Remnant, and its ability to supposedly give life to objects that it touches. The novel The Fourth Closet took it one step further and showed us the Remnant metal being created and used. In that story, we watched as William Afton melts down pieces of the old animatronics, creating a remnant suit that he then uses to give life to
that are used to scare children.
Specifically, the Funtime animatronics. Quote,
so that's why it changed so much?
Rested the endoskeletons of the original Freddy's animatronics, welded and melted together, immobile and featureless, and still inhabited by the spirits of the children who had been murdered inside of them so many years ago, still filled with life and motion and thought, all trapped, all in terrible pain. Usually this goes into something mechanical, something I made, William said. If we remember back to Candy Cadet's stories of 5 things always becoming one thing, 5 kittens getting sewn together, or 5 keys melted down into one, this is exactly what those stories were referring to. But Phineas's experiments in 1:35 a.m. actually take it one step further and give us more insight into the true nature of Remnant. Things that are brought to light via Remnant
I don't know how you inject metal with fluid,
with a soul, but instead with agony, with intense human emotion, with extreme human suffering. This is important because it means that characters like Balloon Boy, the Bitty Babs, and the Mini Renas and Sister Location, heck, even animatronics like Mangle, don't necessarily need to have actual victims associated with them. We used to look at solving the mysteries of this series as having it be one-to-one all the time.
Kind of like building an army.
Equals Chica, Charlie equals the puppet, Cassidy equals Golden Freddy. But what we're starting to learn is that there are other ways to bring things to life in this series, that some animatronics may contain multiple souls, like we talked about last time with Golden Freddy, and some might not contain any souls at all, as long as it always ties back to some extreme tragedy filled with this all-powerful emotion of agony. So with that little analysis in place, let's go back to our story.
If this is true, this is massive.
Associated with horrific tragedies, and via some means funnel all the agony from them down into an endoskeleton, which we're specifically told is meant to be a stand-in for bones, so we're talking like a FNAF 1 or FNAF 2 era endoskeleton here. This then puts the head of a large 3-foot doll on it. A doll whose description bears a shocking similarity clarity to blank, actually, from the fan game Five Nights at Candy's. And finally, a battery pack before turning this beast on.
A battery pack?
Not only does this
It's not
modern
nuclear
Frankenstein
powered.
come to life, it immediately kills its creator, Phineas, seemingly by accident, surprisingly.
Is that where the blood
and then
came from?
runs off, hiding under a black cloak. The STITCHWRAITH has been born.
Maybe because of all the
But,
agony,
why
it
am I
freaked out and
making
killed
such a
him
big deal out of this thing?
instantly.
Why does this guy deserve his own episode? Well, because solving the STITCHWRAITH story in these books is like a game unto itself. You see, there have been very subtle clues hidden throughout the 9 other stories in this series that connect things back to the STITCHWRAITH. My first clue was the battery pack Phineas uses to power the STITCHWRAITH as he's building it. Because it's not just any battery pack.
What
it
is
came
it, battery
from
of
Fetch,
souls?
the murder animatronic dog from book 2 of the series. Quote, the item in the second box was an animatronic dog that clearly no longer functioned.
What do you mean clearly?
The dog was an ugly dog with a triangle-shaped head and a wide mouth full of sharp teeth. In minutes,
Why
he
do they have sharp
revealed the
teeth?
dog's battery pack. So immediately we know that the STITCHWRAITH story is happening after the events of the Fetch story from book number 2.
Makes sense.
So I dug around deeper and more connections kept coming. Earlier in this same book, in the title story 1:35 a.m. about the haunted Ella doll, there's one line referencing a man named Phineas looking online for a particular toy. Quote again, one of the searches for special Ella doll
Is he
led
somebody
her to
that's
an
following
online ad
up
posted by a
on what
user
William
named
started?
Phineas, who was trying to find one of the dolls. His ad referenced the special Ella doll and said he was willing to pay a premium for the doll's energy. Overall,
Okay, why do you
across
have to
the
word it
9
like that? Just
stories
be like,
published
yeah, I'm
so
trying to
far,
buy it.
7
I'm a collector.
seem to tie back to the STITCHWRAITH, allowing us to create a rough timeline of events. So bear with me as we go through this. We know that 1:35 a.m. and Fetch must come first because Phineas is alive and looking for the Ella doll like I just mentioned, and the evil robot dog has just started his murder spree. From there comes the story we just covered, Epilogue 3 and the STITCHWRAITH's creation. After
It is
that,
very
he
creepy,
begins to
but I
roam
like
the
it.
city collecting body parts for some purpose.
How do you just
You
find
may
body
remember
parts?
Book number 1 story to be beautiful, in which Baby hacks apart a human girl named Sarah in order to steal her identity. Sarah is rebuilt out of junk, only for her to fall to pieces at the end. Well, in epilogue number 1, we hear that the STITCHWRAITH was seen collecting those junk pieces of Sarah. Odd, right?
Oh.
And it's not the only time that it happens either. In book number 2, there's the
Is it like the
story
janitor
out
for
of
the
stock
entire
about a group of
story?
friends who
Like,
steal
it's
a
just
defective
cleaning up
plush
everything and
trap doll,
collecting?
one with oddly human-like eyes and teeth, only for it to go on a rampage. The boys manage to escape by luring it in front of an oncoming train where it gets shattered to pieces. And again, in epilogue number 2,
picks it up.
we see the STITCHWRAITH on the scene, salvaging whatever he can find of the broken body. And that's
it's
where
like
it would
collecting
seem to end
all
if it
of
weren't for one other
the
small
loose
detail.
ends, like
You see, in one of the other stories, in the
clean it
story,
all up.
Room for One More, about a security guard being force-fed mini Rena dolls in the basement of Circus Babies Entertainment and Rentals, there's a passing reference to a restaurant called the Snack Space. Hey man, I was picking up a takeout order at Luigi's the other night and saw your ex on a date with the manager of the Snack Space. Seems super unimportant, right? Well, it would be if this was the only time that it was mentioned, but it's popped up in one of the other stories.
How?
In Into the Pit, the very first story, the one about the
time-traveling ball pit.
The Snack Space is where the protagonist's father works,
Oh.
which means that Circus Babies Entertainment and Rentals' sister location is also in that world, which in turn connects it to one final story, Count the Ways, where we see an old, broken Funtime Freddy planning to execute a girl trapped inside of his stomach. And while these
that's when it asks her how it wants to die.
It certainly feels like at some point all of these stories will come together, as though we're working on chunks of a larger puzzle. We've got a big chunk over here, that's the STITCHWRAITH connections, and a big chunk over here that's all connected through sister location and the Snack Space, and then you have a few other random pieces over here.
Which are
By
characters
the end,
and stuff.
I expect all of them will come together.
And it's like 2 more books?
That they are all connected, the timeline seems to go about like this. Lonely Freddy, the story about the kids getting mind swapped with mini Freddy dolls, has to be first, because it's the only one of these stories so far where Fazbear locations are open and ready for business. At some point, Freddy Fazbear's closes, leading to Room for One More about the underground facility filled with mini Renas hoping to escape, which would parallel what we hear in Sister Location.
Due to the massive success, and even more so the unfortunate closing of Freddy Fazbear's
Isn't it unfortunate?
Pizza, it was clear that the stage was set, no pun intended, for another contender in children's entertainment. entertainment.
At some point, Baby and the mini-Renas escape from that underground facility, leading to 1:35 a.m. with Phineas looking for the haunted doll and Greg activating the murder dog in an abandoned Freddy Fazbear's in Fetch. From there, the next major moment is STITCHWRAITH's creation in Epilogue 3, which then leads to his quest for body parts in To Be Beautiful Epilogue 1 and Out of Stock Epilogue 2. We also know that Into the Pit and the New Kid happen near the end of the timeline, since they both feature a closed down, forgotten, or repurposed Freddy's building. Also, there's Count the Ways, which is towards the end of this timeline, grouped with these other stories, since a retired Funtime Freddy is just randomly sitting in a garage killing kids. What does all of this tell us? What was the purpose of
Everybody's
doing
got
all
their
this
hobbies.
work? Well, first, all of this seems to connect us pretty solidly into the book trilogy. The fact that we have an Ella doll infused with agony that Phineas wants his hands on perfectly matches the Ella doll that
Maybe they're
Henry
batteries or
made
something
for his
else.
daughter Charlie. To quote from the fourth closet, agony erupted, flooding the room with its sound. A man lay curled on the floor, something cradled tightly in his arms, and when his mouth opened, the room shook with the sound of his anguish. Who is that? Charlie said anxiously. What is he holding? You don't recognize her? Elizabeth said. That's Ella, of course. It's all your father had left after you were taken. He cried over that cheap store-bought rag doll for 2 months, cried into it, bled into it, poured his grief over it, end quote. At which point, he makes the robotic Ella doll that we talked about in the last episode. So what we're seeing in these stories appears to be, at least to some extent, the aftermath.
Notice how he has different
of
people
that
helping him with
trilogy
the books.
Which also means that we might already know the true identity of the STITCHWRAITH. It's a bit of a long shot, but it's my personal headcanon until proven otherwise. I think that the endoskeleton that powers the STITCHWRAITH, the main body that's become the conduit for all of this agony, is the same endoskeleton that killed Henry. The robot that he used to end his own life. The stabbing robot, which, let's be honest, is like the most complicated way to do that sort of thing. Like, build a robot to stab you to death?
Yeah.
Creative types, man, they are weird. Anyway, we're told in the Silver Eyes that it's a basic Gen 1 endoskeleton with an unfinished face, which would explain exactly why Phineas needs to put a head on it.
Is it trying to finish itself?
From the Silver Eyes, she could see its face. If it could be called a face, its features were scarcely formed, crude and shapeless. Its blind eyes were only raised bumps like the eyes of a statue, seeing nothing but its own grief. We also know that this endoskeleton would be absolutely filled to the brim with agony. I mean, as far as endoskeletons go, a murder
it's literally a masterpiece
grieving father is a pretty huge deal. And it's apparently an important enough character to this franchise to have also appeared at the end of the book trilogy. When Charlie is
it's obviously important because it's the big
trusty knife that Charlie
it's the overlapping big story.
Both in. I have a very
I'll be streaming Pokemon today, by the way, at 5.
That the STITCHWRAITH will, at some point during this book series, be revealed to be connected back to Henry and his bizarre death. Just saying, the pieces are in place for us.
See, I don't find that face that scary.
Assuming that the Fazbear Fright series is connected a bit closer to the book trilogy, like it appears to be, we know that Book 5, Bunny Call, features a story about a man with gruesome burns over his body and an iron will to live. I mean, we already suspected that that was William Afton, but going back to see how his story ended in the fourth closet, we see that his death is far from certain. In his final moments, his hospital gown catches fire and he's pulled into a massive furnace. But then, nothing. No official confirmation that that burning actually kills him. Therefore, a burned man in a hospital who refuses to die sounds like a certain yellow bunny we all know.
It kind of does.
Always comes back. And with that, I've had enough FNAF for now. Oh, man,
have you?
It has been a lot. The new
How many
book
views?
comes out in early July,
8.6 million.
At the very least, I get a break for a couple of weeks. Thank goodness. No.
Protect?
No!
Wait, what is that? I don't know what that is. What is Protect?
Man, I am, a little on edge these days. 2020 has really started to mess with my head. I need to relax.
2020, yeah.
But I've seen all of this, literally everything on every
That's
streaming
Netflix.
platform. If only there was something new to watch.
Oh God.
Wait, can it be?
NordVPN.
Episode, NordVPN. What are you doing?
Don't have
here,
music
Nord?
playing in the
I'm
background.
looking for new entertainment.
If you have music playing in the background, I'm skipping it.
Grade encryption of all my personal data across all my various devices, including mobile, tablet, and PC.
Fear not, MatPat, for I offer both protection and
I've been watching
But how,
Perfect Match.
NordVPN?
With one click, change your country
First
code
time.
and you'll see.
All right, I'll try it. Let's take a trip over to Canada, refresh Netflix, and
is it really that different to be in
There's
Canada?
all sorts of things I couldn't access from my U.S. connection, like Wind River, the award-winning mystery starring Scarlet Witch and Hawkeye. And
Wait,
if
is
I
that
hop
actually,
over
is
to
that by
the
Marvel or
ad-
is that the same actors?
Yo, is that Dragon Ball Z streaming?
And Demon Slayer.
Demon
Anime
Slayer.
of the year 2019. Remember 2019?
And
Yeah, it was a
Studio
good
Ghibli
time.
classics like Princess Mononoke and Spirited
I
Away. I
have
always
a
wanted to
lot of
watch
those.
but
I have
you always
18
had
of
to buy
those.
them
Someone sent a
separately here in
box.
the US.
Shout out to
It's
Subi.
like a trip around the world without ever leaving your home.
See, the music
That's
is very
just a
quiet
few
in the background.
examples. It looks to me like international Netflix has all sorts of gems like this.
Especially when you consider Nord has thousands of
Well,
servers across over 60
imagine having free time to watch
countries.
anything.
Wow!
It's
Nord
taken
isn't just
me
protecting me, it's also
3
entertaining
weeks to watch
me.
Perfect
And
Match. There's
right
only
now,
12
everyone who's
episodes.
going stir crazy at home like me can
I'm
go
not
to
done with it.
nordvpn.com/MattPat, MATPAT, and use the code MattPat.
Hopefully this
checkout
isn't
to get
quiet.
70% off a 3-year plan
I
plus
hope-
1 additional month for free. That means a Nord subscription
Is there anything at the end? I don't think so. There's just the music. The music got a little bit louder and it got me scared because sometimes these massive music corporations like to wait until the video goes live and then copyright claim the video, and then I have to go through and mute that segment of the video because I'm not going to take the video down, edit, re-render, and upload it again. So I have to use YouTube's editing software, which it's a lot faster if I just, mute the entire audio for that entire segment since they want to play stupid games like that. But I've had that issue in the past with game theory videos and Russian Badger videos, and I think a JonTron video as well. But this is a crazy theory. Talk about STITCHWRAITH and stuff like that. STITCHWRAITH is sick. That name is amazing. I love that name so much. I'm looking forward to the next episode. Should it be the FNAF animatronics are psychic, which I think is a Science of FNAF video, or do I do another mystery solved? You let me know down below in the comment section. I know these videos actually aren't on the main channel, the Science of Five Nights at Freddy's, because I think Austin left, so they unlisted them. So now the only way you can find them is through the playlist that I have, and then I also share the link down below in the comment or the description as well. But I read every single one of your comments. I hope you have a wonderful rest of the day. But until the next video, take care and cue the music.